Before we do get into today's video for Marvel's Avengers, just a quick hello and welcome to the new subscribers we've got in the last 24 hours. I think we've got roughly about 300 or 400 subscribers on the back of the Captain America and Thor video, so that's pretty awesome and pretty exciting as well. Now, I wasn't doing any commentary in that last video, so it may shock you to hear that I've got a pretty strong Scottish accent. If you enjoy the content but you struggle a bit with that accent, go away and watch Shrek or Trainspotting a few times, and when you come back you'll be more than sorted. Now, on to today's video. We've got some pretty awesome information that's came via the datamine that was done by 6 + 4 = 52 on Reddit. Now, within that actual datamine there was character names that came up, and everyone seems to be really focusing on that. Personally, a side that I was really interested in was the itemisation and how that would work, and whether or not any of that was spoiled via the datamine, and it certainly looks like it has been. So what we have then within the datamine is reference to 5 different artefacts that look like they will be included in the game. Bear in mind, datamines are always subject to change, but within the game in the beta we've seen that we have minor and major artefacts. Developers have revealed that major artefacts will be exceptionally hard to come by, but they will be exceptionally powerful. They could maybe be like raid rewards or rewards for finishing the story. Now, within the beta there was actually reference to a major artefact called the Tactagon, which you got, I believe, for possibly finishing the story. So this is how I know that artefacts are all tied together in this manner. But let's jump in and let's check them out, and we'll actually look at the lore behind them as well. The first artefact we have here then is the Darkhold. If you played Marvel Heroes Omega, you'll most definitely be aware of this. It was a really powerful item in that game. It does have 3 different states. I'm not quite sure what those states actually mean, but it does have them, and it also has the cooldown on it as well. How we actually activate these exotic artefacts, I'm not quite sure, but what does the Darkhold actually do? So this is a description of the Darkhold that we have here. Now, I'm not going to read it all out here, but what it is in summary is essentially a book created by an evil elder god. It is incredibly powerful, and I believe it can also corrupt actual users of it as well. In regards to the spells it can help the user cast and how this could tie in with gameplay, it says it includes accessing Limbo, the origins of lycanthropy, conjuring dark force, controlling the will of others. That one sounds like it could definitely fit into the game, and it could control enemies to fight on your side, summoning, I'm not going to try and say that name, and other malevolent elder gods, and then siphoning psionic energy to empower a target. That's something that could fit into the game, empowering your allies as well there, so definitely an interesting artefact. Before you do get your hopes up for this next image here, this doesn't allow you to summon Odin or anything like that as far as I am aware at least, but this artefact is called Dropner, and the closest thing to an image for it I could actually find was an image of Odin, because it is one of his artefacts. In relation to the information we get via datamine, it simply states the name, and it states that it can go on cooldown as well. In regards to the actual artefact, we don't have a lot of information on this, but this is taken from the Marvel Wikipedia once again. So it's stating that he who possesses the Dropner, an enchanted golden armband that duplicates itself 8 times over each morning, providing Odin, in this case, with limitless wealth. So I wonder if it is an artefact that's just going to help you actually get currency in the game there. The next artefact we have here is thankfully a lot more interesting one potentially than the one we just looked at a moment ago. So this is called Tactagon. As we mentioned at the start of the video, you can actually see this in game as a reward. It's for completing a story mission. So what does the Tactagon actually do? We've got another pretty long description here from the Marvel Wiki. I won't read it word for word, but you can always pause it if you want to read it all yourself. But it's essentially a weapon of extraterrestrial origin. It sounds like it works like a symbiotic relationship almost with the host of it, and that it will make them more powerful, but there is a cost of that, and that the actual host will become more aggressive as a result of it and actually seek out fights. Now, in regards to what it could do gameplay wise, I will read out this final paragraph because it does tie in with that. So it states that the Tactagon was a very powerful weapon that found any enemy's weakness and adapted itself to exploit it, so it could perhaps from a gameplay perspective add something like vulnerability to enemies. It states it's capable of emitting destructive energy blasts and can change its shape as well. Destructive energy blasts of course could fit in from a gameplay perspective, and then just to finish up with this, it states it could also take over computers around it to gain information, and War Machine classified it as an Omega level threat. The next artifact we have here is one that will definitely be familiar to players of Marvel Heroes Omega. This was actually a legendary item within that. Now, looking at the Datamine information, it states non-stone defense buff boost, non-stone defense buff extend, and then non-stone offense. So this looks like it will be a defensive item based on the fact that 3 out of the 4 actually state defense, but it looks like it could maybe extend buffs as well, so that would be pretty amazing. Once again then, we have a breakdown from the Marvel wiki. Pause it here if you want to read it all. I'll just focus on the last paragraph because that ties in with potential gameplay powers. So it's saying, following the Hood's depowerment, because he was in possession of the stones at one point, Loki presents him the non-stones to grant him back use of his powers. Loki later reclaimed the stones during the Siege of Asgard to give the Avengers a fighting chance against the Void by using the stones to temporarily boost their powers. That ties in with the Datamine information, and then it looks like it will be an item that will actually buff your characters there. So definitely an interesting artifact, and it's really awesome to see some of the artifacts from Marvel Heroes Omega actually making their way to this game as well. This next artifact is one that when I was looking through the information in the Datamine, I didn't actually believe this tied in with anything, but out of curiosity I decided to Google it, and it is actually something known as a Lifeline Tablet. It looks like it will be a support style item. Looking at the Datamine information from it, you've got the simple name at the top, the middle line, it's a conditional perk, so it could be perhaps once your health hits a certain amount, it then activates, and then you can see it goes on cooldown as well. Now what would the Lifeline Tablet actually do? Once again then, we'll refer to the awesome Marvel wiki for more information on this. So to quickly read this out, Untablet was a biochemical formula for a serum, the so-called Lifeline formula, which could rejuvenate, heal and grant its user the chance to reach the full evolutionary potential of its race. So if we do actually have an artifact that could heal your character and you don't have to activate it and it kicks in automatically, that sounds really pretty awesome from a survivability perspective. You could make your more squishy characters bit more durable, or you could make your really tanky characters like Hulk even harder to take down. Now we've got one more artifact to look at. This for me is probably the most interesting one. One of the first gameplay reveals then we actually got from Marvel's Avengers was a video showing off Hank Pym. Now from then we've not actually known whether or not it'll be a playable character or if it'll just simply be an NPC. Most recently with the Datamine information we have, a lot of people are expecting him to be a playable character, but this for me could potentially change a lot, and it could actually relate to the other characters we've heard about as well, such as Kate Bishop and She-Hulk. So bringing up the Datamine information on this, you can see that there is an artifact known as Pym Ally, and this particular artifact can go on cooldown as well. So I really do wonder if we can get major artifacts that will allow us to summon in other characters. To me that does make sense because, again, nothing against fans of She-Hulk or the likes of Kate Bishop, but I personally think they're not the biggest names to actually be in the game to an extent of being a full playable character. I think that'll be more reserved for your Captain Marvels, your Black Panthers and your Doctor Stranges, but we'll have other characters that we can call in and actually fight alongside as well, and I actually really do quite like that idea. But that's everything we were able to find. There's actually a lot more in the Datamine, so I'm going to look through it later on tonight and see if there's anything else interesting I can find. But as always, thanks for tuning in for this video. If you enjoyed it, take the time to hit the like button and the subscribe button, and stay safe, and I'll see you all again soon.